Hello everyone and welcome to the Action Figuratorium. Look at the production value of this show, people. It's like you're watching a real show. My name is Mark Major. I'm a real big toy collector here in Southeast Portland. Also old school marketing guy who runs his own studio here in the sort of area we call Chilwaukee, Oregon. More on that later. And today I have got 3 stories in one video, people. I'm covering 3 things that are all connected and they're all a lot of fun and they're all kind of weird and kind of groovy in a sort of kind of society's collapsing sort of way. First thing is we're going to talk about the most recent updates with the Diamond Comics distribution bankruptcy, in which it was sold, then it was sold to a different party, then there was a lawsuit and it was resold to the first party. Now the first party has rejected the bid and we're getting some details on that. And we're going to see it maybe who owns it by the end of this episode, although there's no guarantees on that. That'll be story 1. Story 2 involves Things from Another World. That is a online retailer that competes with your type of Entertainment Earths and a little bit of your big bad toy stores and Amazon, some stuff like that. They also are a local company to me, and I went boots on the ground down there today and went and looked around to see if I could get any kind of juicy scoops. And that led to my third story, which is Free Comic Book Day, something that you guys have recently heard me talking about. Why? Because Free Comic Book Day is owned by Diamond Comics Distribution, and it's one of the assets that was up for sale in their bankruptcy. And some people online have been talking about it, and they're afraid it's going to go away, even though it doesn't really do anything for anybody, as far as I can tell. But I could be wrong. You know why? Because I'm wrong all the time. I just guess as best as I can, just like you, just like me. We're trying to do the best thing we can in terms of sorting out the news here. So everybody, in today's episode, let's all come together, strap on the leather, and hold on tight. Now, I've been covering this story since January. Diamond Comics Distribution filed bankruptcy, and in their assets or in the companies that they own or sort of co-own or part of their umbrella corp is a action figure toy company called Diamond Select Toys. Diamond Select Toys makes Marvel Select, they make Mini-Mates, they make a bunch of busts and some other things like that. As far as I can tell, they're a real good company. I like this company. I like their product. I support their products. I collect their products. I'm on board with Diamond Select Toys. I'm not a Diamond Select hater. I'm a Diamond Select lover. So I've been covering the comic book distribution bankruptcy sort of because of that. I want to see what's going to happen to our guys, our gang, our team. And that's why I'm involved in this. That's why I've been covering it. But let's cut over to the most recent development, because people, let me tell you something. You guys love developments. Here we go. Look at this. Look at the production level here, people. So the most recent thing, and I made a video about this on Monday. I will link below in the description. I will link all the videos I have done on Diamond Comics Distribution bankruptcy. You can go back and watch them as I learn in real time what's really going on. And we have some new details. In the Monday video, I pointed out that the winning bidder for the bankruptcy of all the assets of Diamond Comics Distribution, including Diamond Select Toys, was a company called Alliance Entertainment. They are essentially a giant corporate distribution company that sells a lot of things such as records to record stores. They also have their own little kind of tchotchke Funko type toy company that makes things like Funko Pops. They also distribute some toys, such as they've got the Lego brands. So, you know, if you're like a record store and you sign up for Alliance Entertainment, you can get records, you can probably get some Funko Pop type stuff, and you can probably get some Legos. And you'd be surprised what you can do in your store. Well, Alliance Entertainment has now rejected the the chance to buy out Diamond Comics, and we find out that they canceled this because, and I'm going to get down here to what's going on, is that It turns out there was, I'm going to read this, a meeting between the parties being Alliance Entertainment, Wizards of the Coast, and Diamond Comics. That began at 10:15, and then a contentious video call in the days that followed. Alliance alleged that Diamond inflated the value of its business by tens of millions of dollars as part of an intentional scheme. What is this? Well, it turns out that Wizards of the Coast, remember them? They're owned by Hasbro. Done a lot of videos about Hasbro, okay? I should probably link those too. They're all really good. They actually terminated working with Diamond Comics distribution, and they were 25% of Diamond Comics business. 25%. They ended their contract with them back in December, but they did extend it by 30 days, 60 days, 90 days as kind of I can tell you're on tough times. We'll give you a little bit of an extension. This information was withheld from Alliance Entertainment, right? When they bid, they didn't know this. They thought they were getting all the juice with all the contracts. And so now they have canceled the sale, of course, and what followed is a lawsuit. They are suing Diamond Comics for fraud. This is not going to go in a particular good direction for Diamond Comics. This is very bad what's happening. These guys are doomed to wander the earth forever as ghosts. That is what is happening here, people. All right, so canceled the bid, lawsuit, withheld information intentionally. This is all not happening in the right direction for Diamond Comics. However, if we go to this article, the previous article, by the way, was in the Baltimore Banner. If you want to go to the baltimorebanner.com and look that up, you can read it on your own. This is in Business Wire. Court approves universal distribution and Ad Populum. Ad Populum owns NECA. Do you remember the company NECA? I hope you do. And Ad Populum bid to acquire Diamond Comics distribution. Okay, so the second place bid were these guys. They were not the winning bidders. They were the second place bidders. It's two companies, Ad Populum, toy company, NECA, etc., and Universal Distribution, a Canadian company that sells games, right? They put in together a sort of a Franken Corporation bid with the idea that they would take what each different party wants. One guy wants this stuff, one guy wants this stuff. They split it up, they blah, 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 that kind of thing. So the court has approved their ability to now buy, since Alliance Entertainment is out. This is the backup bid. This is who they're going to go with. But if we go back to this article in the Baltimore Banner, there is a thing in here. Yes, complicating matters further. Let me read this. The U.S. trustee overseeing Diamond's bankruptcy. Now, when we say trustee, this is the person who, company, group of people, composite, who is overseeing the rules sort of the bankruptcy on behalf of the people who are owed money. So the people, the creditors who are owed money, they have a say in what's going on. If they don't like what they see, they say something to the court. They're kind of they're not a king or a queen on the game board. They're kind of a rook or a bishop, but they're still a powerful piece out there. And they do have a say. And so the trustee overseeing Diamond's bankruptcy requested money that its bankruptcy be converted from Chapter 11, which is restructuring, to Chapter 7, which is liquidation, okay? Even though the court today approved the sale of the company to the second highest bidder. Now, what does this mean? Don't know. Give it a few days. There's shakeups happening all the time. Lawyers, there's probably counter lawyers. There's a paper going. There's paper everywhere at this point. There's no one knows what's going on. It's all paper. We can't figure out who's going to buy what. But because the court approved the sale does not mean the sale is going to happen. Ad Populum and Universal Games could decide at this point that this is not for them. These are damaged goods. They're not paying this. Now that there's no one to really bid against, what are they paying for? It'd be much cheaper to say no, let it go to liquidation, in which case they don't have to put up the $65 million. They can put up like $10 million. And so I'm going to bet, I'm going to bet that these guys, I'm going to give it a 50-50 chance that they're going to just roll the dice and let it go to liquidation and see if they get it that way. See if each party gets what they want. Now, if it does go to liquidation, if it goes to Chapter 7, and these same assets are now up for auction again, up for sale again, I'm going back to my original bet that Funko buys Diamond Select toys. I'm going to revert back to my original guess, my original bet. I'm putting money on that. And then as far as all the other distribution things that they've got, like the Gentle Giant limited thing that sells online and some of these other online companies, I'm going to say that the big dog in the room this time is probably going to be, I'm going to go back to my original bet of Amazon. Amazon's going to buy some of these things. Why? Just get them out of the marketplace. Fold them into whatever they got, take whatever inventory, and just be done with it. Why? Because that's what they do. Okay, so that, people, that was story one. Story one is the update, okay? And I just wanted to make sure you know that my bets for Funko is back on the table. I'm not out yet, and if I win, I'm going to make a video of me dancing, okay? Now, let's go to story two. Are you ready for this? Here we go. So, Things from Another World to shutter their online retail store. Things from Another World is a company that sells pop culture things like comic books and games and action figures and statues and trading cards and probably t-shirts and probably keychains and probably some tchotchkes, and I'm going to say crap. Now, they are probably one of the accounts of Diamond Comics Distribution. That's probably who they have been getting all their stuff from for 101 years. And the fact that they are closing their online retail is not a surprise to me. It's just part of the ripple effect of when one company goes under, sometimes a couple other go under. Now, what you don't know is that these guys have two Portland locations. They've got one in Beaverton, one in Milwaukee. These are suburbs of Portland. They sound weird and crazy to you if you live here. These don't mean anything. And so I decided today to walk over to the store. There it is. I took a picture. Things from Another World, downtown Milwaukee, a few blocks from where I'm at right now at the Auditorium. And that I would do some boots on the ground reporting. I would go in, I would listen for rumors, you know, a little bit of detective work, see what people are saying, talk to the clerks, you know, non-invasive conversations, just like, hey, how's it going? How's sales been? You guys doing cool? Well, I like this book too, that kind of thing. And here's kind of what I saw. There was a group of dudes in the back. They were talking about the closure of the online store and what they were going to do now. They're talking about how email wasn't going to work anymore and they couldn't reply to people and packing stuff and things like this. It was all kind of, it sounded like a meeting to me, and I kind of like got bored. And I didn't mean to like really listen to that. It just happened to be going on and I heard it because I was checking out everything in the store. But they were actively talking about their next moves of shutting down their online store. However, the retail brick and mortar store, as you can see here, is still going. And I thought, well, maybe there would be some sort of thing between the two, some kind of synergy. Maybe they would have a whole bunch of closeout stuff. Maybe there'd be some things cheap, maybe some stuff on sale. But nope, everything there was overpriced by a gazillion dollars. And it's funny because every time I've walked by this store, they're open, but they look like they're closed. I never see anybody in the store ever. Although when I was in there, there were two people who were shopping or looking around. And one of the guys was talking to the clerk, and they were talking about this upcoming Saturday, which happens to be, because first Saturday in May, Free Comic Book Day. Now, if you missed my last video, I talk about Free Comic Book Day. It is a thing in which you go to a comic book store and they give you a free comic. And you don't buy anything. No sales happen. Now, the idea is it's a marketing thing. It's a way of creating foot traffic. People come into the store, they get their free comic. While they're there, they look around, they see a bunch of overpriced tchotchkes and they leave, right? Record Store Day, which Alliance Entertainment does, is a day in which you go in and you buy records. It's a purchasing day. Now, if they'd made comic book day, where you went in and there was a special comic and you bought it, that would be a success. But a day where you go in and you don't buy anything, that's not a success, people. That's trash. And if you can't get over that, I can't help you. And I'm here to try and help you. But if it doesn't generate any income directly, it's garbage. Now, if you came in and you got a free one, and then by being there, you made a bunch of purchases that you wouldn't normally have, well, that's worth something. That's, got to spend money to make money. But what I found out by listening to the customer and the clerk, and then I chimed in a little bit, because I gotta get my story. This leads me to story number 3, right? Is that free comic book day people thought was up in the air, what with the comic bankruptcy going on with Diamond Comics. They own free comic book day. That this wasn't going to happen, that this was going to be canceled, that kind of thing. And I asked them, I said, well, is free comic book day going on? And the clerk said, yes, it is. We've received all the stuff. We're ready for it. So they have already published all the free comics are going to be given away. They have shipped them to all the stores that are going to be giving them away, and they have them. Free comic book day, I'm here to report, is happening. Free comic book day is happening this Saturday. But here's the thing that kind of blew my mind, and I think that's why you guys are subscribed or at least watching this video, is that the customer in there, and he was a bit of a, he was like, well, why wouldn't it be going on? It survived COVID. It was on during COVID. And I was like, well, I don't know, maybe this bankruptcy of Diamond Comics distribution? Are you on a, when they say things from another world, is this actually another world? Is this another planet? You walk in there and people are like, what bankruptcy? I don't know. These guys literally are on another planet when you walk into this place. The dude either had no idea or was oblivious or he just can't comprehend. But I was reassured by the clerk that it is happening. They do have the stuff. But the guy who didn't know what I was talking about, the bankruptcy, just kind of went over his thing. He didn't even create conversation. He's like, he didn't ask about it. He's like, really? I didn't hear about it. That is what shocked me, people. That is what shocked me, is the low-level mooks walking around, the knuckle draggers, the apes out there, the overweight Cheeto-eating guys who just, they're just not present. They're not in the world. They don't know anything about what's going on around them. They're just, I don't know how to describe it. But people are incapable of, I don't know, of just existing on multiple levels of consciousness or something. Who knows? It confuses me that, people could be this far gone and to not, be a guy who goes to free comic book day every year and doesn't know anything about, like, the comic book industry. So that is the 3 stories. 1, bankruptcy. It's a bummer if you're Diamond. 2, things from another world. They're going out too, but the brick and mortar stores are still going. For how long? Don't know. If there's a sale, I'll be down there. I'll be down there looking for something. Tell you what, if they put everything in that store at half off, still too expensive. Still too expensive, but I will go down there if there's a sale. And 3, Free Comic Book Day 2025 is happening. If you want to go get some free product and not pay any money and don't buy anything, go find a comic book store and, go enjoy yourself. So, thank you to everybody who made it, let's be honest, who made it this far into the video. There's always a bit of thanks. Liking, subscribing, of course, that is your own time. But something we all do together is we all stay charged, people. So,